Welcome back to Trekyards, everybody. He is Commander Cocking.
He's got a Foley.
We've intercepted your day, and we are going to be talking about a ship, because that's what we do here on Trekyards. So I'm glad we got a chance to stop you.
Thanks for joining us. Yes, we're back at it again, doing another ship, yet an older ship. What are we doing today, Stuart?
We are looking at the USS Interceptor, which, to be fair, we've looked at before. But that was when? 2016?
Yeah. So, a while ago, we've changed.
It's a hot minute ago,
in many ways, and rendering quality, PCs have radically changed since then. So, of course, we talked to Steve Baldwin back in the day about this, and of course, a model created by Dave. But I've gone ahead and I've taken the model. I've rendered it nicer than I did in 2016. I've also done an enhanced pass for interactive lighting, as you can see. So it's hopefully even nicer than I could even have done back then. So we're going to take a fresh look at this. I would still maintain quite a famous fan design. At the time, this thing had spread around. It was a very readily available fan mesh on all the forums and such. So I've known about this way longer than the Trekyards we've been doing, and I've seen this celebrated after. And given that it was made at a time before there's even as many models, it'd be interesting to see how this then matches up to all the new things developed since. Because when we did this, there wasn't new Trek. Certainly wasn't new modern Trek. So, yeah, just see how this thing how it measures and how we feel about it. Yeah, 2006, the design, so it was a very long time ago.
Yeah. It's definitely inspired by the Intrepid class. There's a lot of design elements there that are very evocative of that, including the articulated nacelles. As you can see, there's the hinge point there. So,
and do go watch our episode with him to see all the how. This is us going back and take a look at the why, as it were.
Yes, yeah. It's a nice, stout little ship, honestly. And it's fast. Interceptor, that's what it's for, really, you would assume.
Mm-hmm. I would assume, yes. But you know what's funny about this is that this, to me, speaks of, and again, go watch another film episode, of a time of Trek when this person wanted to take all the logic that was produced by John Eaves and Rick Sternbeck especially, and do something new. Before, when other fans just take a shape and do something, or do this and kit bash. This is so logical in the Rick Sternbeck style. If Rick looked at this and we said, right, re-sketch it to match your thing, he wouldn't change much. It is what it feels like. It feels that logical, right? Especially if we had a lot of fan stuff now, it just like feels so logical.
Yeah. And as you can tell, well, maybe you can tell. If you can't, we'll help you out with that. This is a pretty small ship. Looking at the size of those windows, the size of the phaser strips, it's not a large ship at all. At most, I would say, like 7, 8 decks?
Yeah, kind of Nova, but compressed.
Yeah, so...
Stout profile.
I can't say I'm a huge fan of the nacelles, personally. I mean, if they were the same nacelles, but turned upright, I'd be more on board with it. But I see what he did, and I understand why.
It flows.
It does, yeah. And you can see the escape pods there as well. So not a lot of escape pods means not a lot of crew. But yeah, some nice details.
Well, the one thing that stands out to me now, as little as it is that there's windows on the rim of the front of the saucer, just hanging out there. They feel a bit out of place to me now. Placement and just happen to be. That's not very Voyager or Sovereign style.
I don't mind them, though. The fact that they're tucked between a deflector and a RCS thruster, you could assume that they are, in fact, like maintenance rooms. Yeah, maintenance rooms or something for those. You don't necessarily need windows in rooms like that, but...
Like I say, they stand out more as a thing. But let's continue through the arrangement. The back view, which... Yeah, we've got the classic clamshell, and then the classic Voyager under window as well.
I like that. Very
logical, yeah.
And 2 very small phaser strips mounted on those struts. Yeah. One bulky, but not bulky, impulse engine. Perfectly sized, honestly, for this vessel.
Although it slightly bugs me now looking at that it goes to the absolute edge of it. I wish it had a slight rim around the outer. very, very small note, but aesthetically, it's almost if I can see as if the grills are venting plasma slightly sideways, whereas if there was an edge to it, they'd just go back. Very small thing, but it's just what I'm seeing now in my modern sensibility. Kind of missing a slight upper shuttle bay door control room zone, which obviously famous for the Connie, but there is also on the E. There's not on the Voyager, but there's on the E. You could have slightly bulked out the neck a little bit and had a slight room there. Wouldn't have been opposed to that.
Well, I think that might be what's implied with at the bottom there. That could be the control room.
Yeah, indeed. In Voyager, there's just it's just seating. It's just a little casual chill bay. Are you missing impulse engines in the wings, in the pylons? Because I feel like I am, looking at this.
Yes and no. I understand why there aren't, because the size of the ship is so small. It's not necessarily needed. But, yeah, they could easily be added there and be perfectly fine.
I think I would have added some small ones just to kind of give some extra oomph and also then redundancy. Got a bit more ability to whatever. I do quite like the coil arrangements on the engines. I'm intrigued a back coil. Kind of like the impulse engines are missing, right? There's back coil.
That's just a fancy light. But yes, changing those red and making those impulse engines on the back of the nacelles, that would work for me.
That would be interesting. It is really a Voyager era ship, and a lot of fans end up taking E as inspiration. Having the nacelles with the classic giant circle rotation points is just nice to see, right? That classic bulk, right? But the bottom view, though, there's a torpedo launcher and a captain's yacht on such a small ship. It's got both. Goodness.
Yeah, it looks like a wave rider tucked up in there.
And landing legs. I do remember doing animation at landing. So again, all classic Voyagerisms, including two bays, bigger bays that imply something coming out. I wonder what they are.
Could just be cargo elevators for when it's landed.
I'm kind of confused. Is that aft? So there's two red lines at the back cut out with. It looks like a plate to me. Is that meant to be the aft torpedo launcher? Because it feels very underwhelming and odd placement if that's meant to be the aft torpedo launcher. Otherwise, there is none.
Could be a warp core ejection port, but it's not styled at all like it. It's a weird angle if it is a launcher of any kind. I don't think it is.
It doesn't feel like, and it feels too small, and because there should definitely be an aft torpedo launcher in this design, but if not, that is confusing.
Yeah, a few more escape pods there on the bottom of the saucer and on the side of the secondary hull.
They're so small, as in they're so small and yet they're so big on the ship. It's great. Next to those is the front, and yes, you can see that must be a torpedo launcher because it's got the same two red details up and down.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I mean, why else be a front tube?
Could be a probe launcher though.
Oh, yes.
Because launching a probe out in that direction is, I think, acceptable. Plus, torpedoes are guided, so it doesn't really necessarily need to be directionally backwards.
Sure.
So
it's just kind of going against the normal flow. Now, this is kind of a busy view, as in it's trying to cram in all the E stuff and Voyage. Like it's doing everything, right?
I do like the deflector being blue as opposed to the yellow of the Sovereign.
It looks like just a verbatim E deflector, design-wise.
That auxiliary craft would take up a lot of room in that saucer.
And shuttles at the back. This thing has not got much internal volume that they've decided should be the ship. Should be other ships. Interesting. But next view is sort of a top sort of general shape view. I do like the double cut-in of the main hull, the way the nacelle kind of tucks in. It's nice. It's elegant.
Question. There's a circle behind the bridge dome. Is that implied to be that could be a warp core ejection slot?
Well, I assume it's a docking port.
I would assume so, but it doesn't necessarily look like one or feel like one.
I mean, a side docking to a space station, but also, that would be a logical central placement for the warp core. And if you can't fit one on the bottom because you have to have there's nothing to say it can't be on the top. That's interesting, yeah. But next view though is with the nacelles up configuration. It does change the vibe quite a bit, but also not at all. Next view from the back, again, nice and Voyagery.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But it's interesting the nacelles are kind of up than that a bit. Like they're not straight, they're very deliberate. Interesting. And then from the bottom, that feels way more Voyager now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's look at some orthos though. See how that feels, top and bottom. Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
You could take the same shape and make a really cool shuttle out of it. Because it has a shuttle vibe to it from the bottom. I don't know. That's just me personally.
I'm intrigued by the... Because obviously this is all... Everything's derivative, but there's a logic behind it, right? The fact that you've got the aft shuttle bay clamshell, of course an E detail, but then either side of it and contained to the pylons, you've got a very Voyager style. There's just sort of a flatness there. And by pushing it out past the back, which of course in Voyager, there is some level of back. It's a simple thing, but I see the logic. They sort of designed it and they just said, this way, this way, this. All right, there we go, we'll try that. And it does change the vibe quite a lot. Obviously, it gives it a flatness at the back, but it's not bad. It's just very different.
Yeah, it definitely incorporates some Sovereign elements and some Intrepid elements together, and I think done very well, honestly. So,
And some
you can
nose
tell
as well.
the bottom of that secondary hull just has a Sovereign vibe to it. The cutout, the deflector, and even the top with the shuttle bay.
So it's verbatim nicked, but also totally different. But the front, the back, and the side, don't love the front view. Feels imbalanced to me, and I don't know why.
I don't mind the front. The side view feels a little imbalanced to me. You know me, when it comes to side views, I prefer a little bit longer nacelles, but that would ruin the look of it from every other angle. Here, it's very stout, compact. It's fine, but
We can see the docking port actually on the edge of the rim, very Voyager-like. So I'm guessing that top bit probably is the escape pod, the warp core direction.
Because this seems smaller than the one on top.
It does, yeah. And I do kind of wish there was more of a Nova-style bridge dome, like one more level up. That would do something for me.
Yeah.
And then back to the first beauty view.
Are those torpedo launchers on the front?
I assume pulse cannons.
Pulse cannons or something.
I assume. Defiant-esque. That's roughly what they look like on Defiant. Therefore, it's limited to if they're quantums. The quantum launcher. Oh no, limited. What a shame. So that is the Interceptor. 8 years later, how do you feel now?
I still like it. It's a nice little ship, and yes, it is little. But yeah, I could definitely see a few of these in formation with an Intrepid class. It would make a good formation shot.
Yeah, it's a very fleet ship.
Yeah,
and if you look at the Voyager being everything the D had but compressed, this is everything the Voyager has but compressed.
Yeah,
which is difficult and very well achieved with its own.
This is like the Grissom of its time, a science vessel of some sort.
Oh, I could take
the Oberth.
It could take more than one torpedo, Stuart. I'm sure.
Oh, it could. So could the Oberth if it had its shields up and ready.
Still. Yeah.
I wasn't trying to do it dirty. I was just saying.
And do go back and watch our other episode. We talked to the designer about it. And we asked all the fun questions, as past us did, with some renders that are of my time. And this ship does look better now. Although they did do a cool landing shot, which is still pretty ambitious for me at the time.
I will have to go back and take a look, and hopefully you guys will as well. Comment down below whether you've seen the other video we've done with the designer, or if you're going to go watch it. We'd really appreciate it if you did either one of those things. And comment what you think about this ship if it's your first time watching it. If you're newer to the channel, we've got 10 years of back catalog, by the way, so go check that out. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell icon so you don't miss any future content from us, as well as lives where we get to hang out with you guys and have really fun discussions with a fantastic community.
That's you, all of you amazing people. Yes, and if you want to support what we do here for you guys, then support us on Patreon. If you can, it's monthly, or join the channel on YouTube, also monthly. Super chatting via live, or super thanksing on any video. It all makes a difference, and we thank you for any and all help.
So until next time, he is Commander Cockings.
He's kind of funny.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.